and welcome to our official Matchday -1 press conference for Nashville SC ahead of tomorrow's Concacaf Champions Cup game against Atletico Ottawa. We're joined by Nashville defender Jack Mayer, and we'll have head coach BJ Callahan shortly after. Jack, thanks for taking some time. We'll start with questions here in the room, and then we'll switch over to questions on Zoom after that. So just starting off with Jack, you guys obviously started off the tie with a 2-0 win on the road, so in good shape. Obviously a lot of work left to do. How are you guys feeling going into tomorrow night?
Yeah, we're excited. I think that the job's not done. And in competitions like this, we got to stay focused because we understand what an aggregate format can look like. With that being said, we're looking to win the game straight out. And I think that that's our mentality going into it. We have a lot of respect for Ottawa and what they did in the first leg, but we want to continue to impose our will on them.
We'll start with questions here in the room. If you would just raise your hand so I can make sure and point it. Go for it.
Jack, you've obviously been with Nashville since the beginning. I'm curious for you what it was like wearing the armband in the first leg. I'm assuming that was a big moment for you.
Yeah, I think personally it's something that I sort of have always wanted to do. And coming here 7 years ago, I think I take immense pride in doing something like that. That's selfishly, but the biggest part of that day was getting the win for the team. I think that whenever we can put together a performance like that and in a manner that we had to go up against Ottawa in a really big tournament, and I think a lot of the guys were sort of rotation guys, but everybody stepped up and everyone played an incredibly good game. That's the only reason that we were able to end up getting the job done.
Jack, the fact that there's so much good competition within the group for minutes for starting position staff makes it even harder for teams to come to Nashville. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think that everyone's trying to do the best they can to help the team win. I think that competition drives good results, good performances, and that's what we've been able to create here in Nashville. Is a good environment where at the end of the day, everybody's trying to get on the field, everyone's trying to play their best at all times, and we understand the stakes. And our job is to just make those decisions tough on BJ.
Yeah. The Atletico Ottawa is coming for the miracle, for the next step. What did you mentally for win the game and thinking about the
next step for Miami?
Thinking about for the Miami for the next situation.
Yeah, we're honestly really not focused on it. We're not focused on Miami at all at this point. We're focused on Ottawa, the team in front of us at this time, and it's funny. You see a team like Miami in the next round sort of thing, but I don't think the words Miami have been uttered in this locker room one time. I think every single person is focused on the game tomorrow night and doing exactly what we need to do to get the job done.
Jack, obviously you come to Nashville with a 2-0 advantage, but what makes these teams dangerous? You still have to be careful with a lot of stuff there, and the game has to be played. What makes them dangerous anyways?
Yeah, I think that even the 88th minute of last game we had Josh Bauer make an unbelievable clearance off the line. That would have changed everything. It would have been 1-1 coming here. This team has the ability to have a good moment in transition. They're really good at their mid-block shape where they're able to just possess the ball for a long period of time. That's something they take immense pride in. And just being able to negate any potential attacks that they have is really what we're supposed to do.
We saw in the first leg maybe a little bit of a slower start from you guys, and then obviously last week against New England, scoring within the first 5 minutes. How do you kind of replicate the New England start and avoid taking a while to get going?
Yeah, I think that what we did so well in the New England game is we were high up the field. We had possession of the ball in their half immediately. I think that was part of New England's tactics against us, but going and winning the corner kick in the first 5 minutes of the game sets a tone that we're going to be in their attacking half the whole entire game. And I think that whenever you can get corner kicks, especially get goals from corner kicks, goals change games. Clearly we know that, and set pieces are a good way to get that done.
Yes, I know you're talking right now, everybody is focused in this game, but our fans, they want Nashville Soccer Club win this new title. Do you think you can give some words for them, or what is the expectation? Do you think Nashville can do that?
Yeah, I think the expectation is that we go into every single game trying to win it. And so Ottawa is up right now, and then whoever comes later, that's who we'll face. And I think that there's sort of been a new expectation at this club that we're trying to win trophies. And we had that happen last year with the Open Cup. That's why we're in this tournament right now. But that creates a new expectation in the locker room. The guys believe it because they've achieved it. And I think that's what makes this tournament so special, that the only real way, one of the only ways for you to get in this tournament is to be the best team in your division, go win a trophy. And that's why I love this tournament so much, and we're going to throw everything we have at it.
Jack, when it comes to just the mentality of going into the second leg of this first round of the Concacaf Champions Cup, do you kind of try to drown out the noise of the expectation of needing to get this win rather than just another game into another week of the season?
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, we go into every single game expecting to win, expecting to put our best foot forward. And BJ in particular, he is a very process-driven coach. He is someone that analyzes the game film, whether good or bad, whether you get the result or you don't, and he'll call it how he sees it. He will tell us, we got the result, but we didn't play our best. And I think that's something that we have to continue to have, that mindset of, we're 3 games into the season now. This is going to be our 3rd game. And I think that we're far from the reaching our greatest potential 3 games in. And I think that we're just going to continue to get better the more games we play together.
And when it comes to wearing the captain's armband in the first leg and potentially the second leg, do you take immense pride in that, in the fact that if you guys end up going on a run in this Concacaf Champions Cup, that this could be your tournament to lead this team as a true leader?
I think that it's a good question. I think that a lot of being a captain for me is the behind the scenes things. It's the talks in the locker room. It's being able to put your hand on someone's shoulder whenever they made a mistake. It's all of those things that allow you to have the trust in the guy next to you that we're going to get this done together. So, of course, it's good to have the captain's armband, but for me, the results are always better. And if we can do that, it's going to be a successful tournament regardless.
Anything else here in the room, guys? Okay, I do see a couple of questions on Zoom, so Sean, if you can help me, I can't see the names there.
Go ahead, Valer.
Hey, Jack. Just on the build-up play, you guys look like you have a different shape this season a little bit, with the goalkeeper coming up a little higher. It seems like you're building up the play a little bit differently. How does that affect your role, and where do you see yourself fitting within that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So that's something that, especially having Schwaki, he is incredible with his feet, and that's a real asset that he brings to the team. He has a certain level of composure that is, that's one of his strengths. And I think that with every new player that we have, we want to play to each other's strengths and bring out the strengths and cover up weaknesses that we have. And I think that Schwaki being a little bit higher in our build-up shape allows us to create sort of this 3-in-1 shape that BJ likes to talk about, where you have the goalkeeper up, 2 center backs a little bit wider than you normally would, 1 or 2 midfielders depending on how they're pressing, and it allows us to get the ball into the midfield phase a little bit easier because we have that extra number advantage.
Go ahead, Valer, if you have a second.
Yeah, and just the group that played on Tuesday was fairly different than the group playing Saturday, and presumably this group playing tomorrow will be pretty different as well. How do you make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page, even though not everybody's getting game time together at the moment?
Yeah, I think that it's 2 pretty different groups, like you were saying, at this time, but we're still one team. And I think that we have been so good about being together, and we're cheering on everyone's success. The other group watched us get the win against Ottawa, and they had our back. They were cheering us on. They were doing everything they could to be amazing teammates, and we did the same for the game against New England. So just knowing it's two groups, but it's one team on a similar goal, similar path forward.
Go ahead, Jacob. You may be muted, Jacob.
Am I good?
Yep, you're good.
Jack, just what have been maybe the biggest differences for you coming into the season with the team in two different competitions, and just having to balance the Champions Cup with MLS play, obviously different from last season. What is maybe preparation been like in the early stages for you, just in handling that? And do you take any experience from 2024 in how you handle this stage of the season?
Absolutely. I think the number one thing that our club has done an incredible job at this offseason was improve our depth across the board. I think we were one of, if not one of the only teams to throw out a bunch of guys in the first leg that hadn't had that much experience together, because of the belief that our coaching staff, the belief that our front office had that we would go and get the job done. I think that just speaks to our team's depth. And like we've brought up already, that drives good competition, and good competition drives good results.
Anything else, Jacob?
Good, thank you.
All right, we'll wrap up with that. Jack, thanks for the time. Best of luck tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everything.
Recording stopped.
And we should have Coach Callahan in here in just a minute, guys. Thanks. I was going to say we can grab that. Is that in your shot at all?
No.
Nice.
It comes descending from on high.
Estamos esperando al coach o al director técnico de Nashville Soccer Club.
Jamás se prende.
¿Quieres que lo Claro.
Coach. Good job. Zach. All right, guys. As promised, we're joined now by Nashville head coach BJ Callahan. Coach, appreciate you navigating all the wires and
Recording
everything.
in progress.
We'll start again with questions here in the room about tomorrow's match against Ottawa, and then we'll go over to questions on Zoom after that. Coach, I'll just lead off. I asked Jack the same thing, but you guys obviously got the 2-0 win on the road in the first leg of the tie. You're in good shape. The job's not done. What's the message to the team going into tomorrow night?
I think the message is kind of the same as how we approach every single game, which is had the opportunity to review the match versus Ottawa. Again, things that we did well, things that we need to improve. I think the challenges that Ottawa presented were kind of what they did with the ball and without the ball. And so for us, right after the last game, we flip our lens and we began preparing, and with today being our final day of preparation.
Great. We'll start with questions here in the room, guys. Go, please.
You're just kind of looking back at the Revolution game, getting a much quicker start. How do you replicate that instead of maybe what happened in Ottawa, where it took a little while to kind of find the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, whenever we are able to play at home with the crowd kind of behind us, there's always a little bit of extra intensity and let's say tempo in the game. And I think that's sort of the challenge for the group. That's who we are in our overall identity. We want to be a group that's attacking both with and without the ball. So for us, it's just kind of to continue to be consistent with that.
Jack mentioned before you came in about the Ottawa's low block being pretty difficult to get past. How do you change that in your preparation going into the second matchup here in Nashville?
Yeah, sure. I thought Ottawa, again, the scoreline can be a scoreline, but some of the challenges that they presented to us with and without the ball specifically kind of, they're really good compactness defensively. We have to find new ways to kind of, I would say, disorganize that group. And so, that's something that we've continued to look at and we'll continue to prepare on.
Do you see those possible diagonal balls you used Saturday to be a potential option for tomorrow as well?
Yeah, I think if we're not able to get off one side, we're definitely going to have to exploit another side. And so if that's by playing through them, playing around them, or having to go diagonal play over them, that's what the game's going to have to give us. But we have to be prepared to execute in whatever opportunities are presented.
Besides the BJ, the goals on Saturday, there were 4. It's not like too many, but still the team was very much in control the whole game, whereas that didn't happen, like you said, in Ottawa. How are you in terms of your coaching, in terms of what you told the players in between the lines of one game and the other?
Yeah, I think for us, the Ottawa game was an opportunity for us to play a really good opponent, a challenging opponent, and we were able to take some lessons away from that match that then you can apply to your next match. And then I would say the same thing's happening with the New England game, right? So it's maybe not that you're preparing to play New England, but if there's similar situations or similar ideas or areas and phases that we need to improve, that's what we're about, right? And that's what I mean by going back right away and kind of analyzing and preparing for Ottawa is learning from the last game, their game, last game, New England, and constantly just trying to get a little bit better.
Yeah, BJ. The city of Nashville, all the residents of Nashville are so excited because this is the next step after you win that title. They believe in you. They think you can win this cup too. What is the message for all the people to come in tomorrow and support the game?
Yeah, again, this from the beginning, we've tried to build a team that is very much made up in the image of the city and the club, and we share the same belief. When there's a title and a trophy on the line, we believe that we have a great opportunity to go win it. And obviously, you have to play the opponent that is in front of you. We don't take anything for granted. As I always say, we turn each page, and tomorrow night's our next match versus Ottawa. And we know how hard it is to play in this stadium when it's full. That's not because of us. That's because of the fans. And we hope that there's a great turnout with great energy, and they can sort of be the wind at our back.
Additional questions here in the room? Yes, sir.
BJ, we saw in the first leg of this Concacaf Champions Cup, Warren Madrigal kind of subbed in for Ahmed Qasim. Obviously, this season you've talked about versatility with this lineup, and Jack mentioned the depth. How do you plan on managing a guy like Warren Madrigal who had a pretty good debut for MLS play and coming back into the second leg of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think every guy's healthy, every guy's available to play. That's what's great about this is that there is good competition in the group. And listen, Warren's a young guy, so being young, you recover quite quick. Maybe being a little bit older, it takes you a little bit longer. But being a young guy, and he's a pro. So I think across the board, we've got great competition in all of our positions. And I think as you saw, sort of the way we went about the Ottawa game and then the New England game, a lot of guys are also in good form. And so I think we're confident with whoever we put out on the field tonight.
Go ahead.
BJ, you always told us that your team prepares the same no matter what the opponent is and maybe the tournament. However, it's different, obviously, when you face MLS teams, even though one brings his own stuff, like New England this past Saturday. Is it a little bit more difficult to prepare against these teams that you know less about?
Yeah, of course. I think you have to go further because you just don't have the historical context. We've challenged our staff and our analysis department on making sure that we can get every ounce of information about every individual player and different things that can happen and different scenarios that potentially happen in these sort of, let's call them unique type of tournament environments, whether they're knockout or when you have aggregate that equals knockout. So, that's the fun part of the preparation, even though the process stays the same on how we're going to deliver information, how we're going to train, but how we collect it all becomes, it is a little bit, I won't say more difficult, but it's a heavier lift because you have to go find it a little bit more than being able to kind of rely on some of your past experiences with similar teams or similar players.
We'll finish up on your left here, Coach, and then we'll go to Zoom after that.
BJ, Ottawa is coming for only 2 goals for send the game and overtime, and we know everything with you playing 2 different tournaments. You make a rotation in the team. How many change do you think about it is in this moment for the tomorrow game?
For us, I mean, we know exactly what's at stake for us, right? We know the aggregate, we know what it takes, we know what away goals is, and I'm confident that we will put a strong first 11, and also, the other thing about this tournament is you're able to bring 23 players on the bench, so you can actually expand the opportunities for the solutions that are going to come on the field, and you can be quite deep at a lot of different positions, and that's a strength of our team. So I think we'll be able to put out a really strong team tomorrow night.
Okay, we'll switch over to a couple of questions from Zoom. Sean, I'll let you call the shots so you can see it.
Yeah, go ahead, Valer.
Yeah, BJ, with the 2 groups who played on Tuesday and then Wednesday and then Saturday and then tomorrow, it's looking like it's 2 different groups. How do you keep the cohesion when they're not getting as much game time together?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about making sure that the guys are getting the right impulses when they need that in the week, and of course the cadence has been a little bit chopped up for some, where it's some of it's a lot focused on the recovery for the next match, and some guys are getting pushed. The group has done a tremendous job in kind of balancing both, depending on which game you played in the first 2, and that'll continue the same through today, where then we'll be able to pick a team again, a strong starting 11 for tomorrow night.
And we asked you about goalkeepers before the season started, and you said you'll see who's starting, and told us to wait a little bit on that. 2 games now for Ryan Schwalke. What is your assessment of him, and are you seeing what you're asking him for?
Yeah, but I think Brian has been consistent, right, in what he's been asked. The goalkeeper's job's to first and foremost keep the ball out of the net. I thought he's done a pretty good job with that. And then you start to expand his role there in helping us in build up. I thought he's shown a calmness, a composure, and also a bit of the ability to play make a little bit out of the back. And so, I think for him, for the first 2 games, it's been a good first step.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, BJ, with kind of the 2 different groups, at least for the games you had last week, and maybe is it maybe a chance for guys to develop new leadership roles, or maybe take a step up in terms of leadership just when they have opportunities like this, like in the Concacaf Champions Cup?
For me, I think we constantly talk about how everyone's going to play a role in the season, how we're going to call on a lot of guys, and people are going to have to step up in their moments. That's not just meaning guys are going to have to step up when they start, right? So what you're seeing here, and what I think is great about being in these 2 competitions, is that players that typically start sometimes now have to take a role of being a solution that comes off the bench and do something that the game demands later, and then vice versa. Guys that typically might have a role for a regular season that's off the bench now have to start. And so I think in terms of development, it's really giving our entire group the opportunity to make an impact on our team and make an impact on the result through different roles and responsibilities.
Obviously, most of the time, if they're healthy, guys like Hani and Sam are going to be starting, in MLS play. I guess, what do you feel those guys are getting from coming off the bench, in in the Champions Cup like they did last Tuesday. What kind of can they take from that experience and learn from it?
Well, I mean, the only thing I can reference is the one time that they came off the bench, which, so if they're called to start, we know what they bring to the game. And certainly when they come off the bench as a solution, they're being put in the game for a reason. And that's, whether that's sometimes to hold a lead, to go get a lead, to score more goals. You put people in the games for specific reasons. And I think for them, it's, again, continuing to develop their roles in the idea of if the game needs a goal, then they have to go find that. If the game needs to be closed out, they need to know how to, defend and put in the dirty work and the running and the sacrifice to do that as well. And that goes across the board. Each and every guy that steps on the field is making a contribution to the end product, which is winning a game.
All right, we'll wrap up with that. Coach, thank you very much.